Hey everyone, Percy, Jules here. How you doing? Fine? Yeah? Now, a little while ago, I subscribed to Loopcloud. So Loopcloud will allow you to download samples, sounds, which you can use in your own productions. So you can browse their entire library and you can purchase anything you find in there. But soon I discovered that apart from that service, they will also give you some really interesting free tools. So first of all, you'll get the standard Loopcloud tool, which you can use to browse samples, you can purchase and download samples, and you can also edit samples. Also, you'll get some free samples just to get you started. But there's also something called the plugin suite. Now, the plugin suite consists out of 3 plugins, if I'm not mistaken. But today we're going to talk about one of those plugins, which is Loopcloud Drum, which obviously is a drum plugin. So is it any good? And how does it stack up to something like Battery 4? I'm using Battery as an example because Battery 4 just happens to be one of the drum plugins that I use on a regular basis. What I also use a lot is Impact by Studio One. So the Studio One DAW comes with a built-in drum plugin which is called Impact. So how does it stack up to especially those two, but also some other plugins? Well, let's find out. Now, Loopcloud Drum is very easy to download and to install, so I'm not going to get into that. Once you've done that, this is what it looks like. It's a pretty decent looking plugin. It looks like a standard 16-pad drum kit, which it actually is. It comes pre-installed with some factory kits, as they call them. Well, obviously to play these pads, you can either click the pads with your mouse, like this, or of course you can use your MIDI keyboard. Now, as you can see at the bottom, Loopcloud Drum comes with a built-in sequencer, which is pretty nice because not all drum plugins have a built-in sequencer. Battery doesn't have it, nor does Impact. No sequencing going on here. So even though the sequencer itself isn't highly advanced, you still might say this is a plus for Loopcloud Drum. Now here in the middle you can see that you have some controls to edit the individual sounds with. It's pretty okay, but it is vastly less advanced than what you get on Battery. On Battery you get so much more options to edit your sounds with. But then again, you know, the level of control you have on Loopcloud Drum for editing the sounds is pretty comparable to what you get with Impact. Maybe even a bit more advanced, so it's not that bad. Okay, now it's time for some big differences. So, Battery 4 comes with a lot of pre-installed drum kits, like this one. But it's very easy to customize these drum kits. You can bring in your own samples from anywhere on your computer. You can swap out the samples that you don't like in this kit. You can move stuff around. You can delete samples. You can also create a kit from scratch. And then, of course, you can save your custom kit. Okay, now the same is kind of true for Impact. You can also create your own custom kits and save them, be it a little less advanced than Battery, of course. Now, Loopcloud Drum, as I mentioned, also comes with a few pre-installed drum kits. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think so, it seems like the only way to get new sounds into this plugin is to go to the Loopcloud store and to purchase a specially made drum kit, so specially made for this plugin. Now, all the kits I've seen are 60 points. So what is 60 points? Well, I pay about €7, which would be about $7 something for 100 points on a monthly basis. So 60 points would be about €4-5 or dollars, which is not extremely expensive, but it is still a lot more expensive than just to go to Splice or to Loopcloud or any other service and to download the individual sounds and just to construct your own custom kit. Now, of course, the advantage of this system is that you don't have to go through all that trouble of searching the entire internet for the perfect kick drum and then do another search to find a snare drum that goes with this kick drum and then again find a hi-hat and so on and so on. That's all been done for you. You can just go to the Loopcloud store, find a nice kit, just purchase it, download it, and it's ready to go. But of course, the huge disadvantage is that there is no way to modify the drum kits. You know, let's say that you find the perfect drum kit, you love the snare drum, you love the hi-hats and the toms, but you just hate the kick drum. Well, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to change that. And that is a huge disadvantage. Okay, now this is the mixer in Loopcloud Drum. As you can see, there are also some effects, send effects, delay and a reverb. There are also some master effects, crush, drive, filter and a limiter. And then you can see some standard control knobs. There's the volume slider for all the individual tracks. Pan control, you can dial in delay, you can also dial in the reverb. Looks pretty okay, doesn't it? Well, it is. There is just one thing. And again, this is huge. Now again, correct me if I'm wrong, but there doesn't seem to be any way that I can send these individual sounds to separate dedicated output channels. Now if we look at battery 4, for example, I can choose any of these sounds and I can send the output to, to the master, or to a bus even, or I can choose any of the output channels available in Studio One. Now the same is true for impact. I can choose any of these pads and send the output anywhere I like. But with Loopcloud Drum, this just doesn't seem to be possible, you know, and that is going to be a huge limitation once you get to the mixing stage. Now, of course, any plugin has some controls to manipulate sounds with, which is good. But once you get to the mixing stage, you leave those controls alone and you use your DAW for mixing, or at least that is my opinion. I mean, you can do it like that, but it just seems very tedious to have to go to all the individual plugins. Okay, I'm going to go to this plugin and I'm going to change some settings here just to have those sounds sit better in the mix. And then I have to go to this plugin, open it up and change some settings here. And it just doesn't seem to be a very healthy way of working. And on top of that, I mean, this plugin has what, 5 little effects? In my DAW, as many of us do, I have tons and tons of effects, and I just want to be able to unleash all that power onto all these sounds individually. But this plugin just doesn't seem to allow me to do that, you know, so not being able to separate the individual sounds is not good. Okay, so in conclusion, so what do I think of this plugin? Now, first of all, I have to say, yes, it does have some really nice features, especially for a free plugin. Absolutely. But on the other hand, it is also seriously lacking in some areas. You know, not being able to separate the sounds and not being able to modify the kits. To me, those are some real deal breakers. Now, on the other hand, I kind of like the idea of having one service that will allow you to browse and download samples and will also give you a tool to play some of these samples as a legitimate drum plugin. You know, I think that's a very nice idea. It will make the process of browsing for samples and purchasing and downloading and editing those samples and producing music a bit more seamless. So I really like that idea, even though I understand that this idea is based on a commercial point of view. Of course, they're giving you this for free to incentivize you to buy more samples. I understand that. But one thing can be both commercial and also user-friendly. So I kind of like this idea. Now, I think that this thing isn't all that bad. It's actually a pretty good tool to have if you don't have any better alternatives. Now, I personally just happen to have better alternatives, so I'm probably not going to use it for now at least. But if you don't, then this is absolutely a very nice tool to have for free. So why not? And I think that if they keep developing this and maybe add some of the features I talked about, then this could really be something. You know, so I think it's really promising. Okay, so that is my opinion on Loopcloud Drum. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you very soon.